SVR IAS Online Academy welcomes you to the world of civil services exam preparation. ComeOnIndia.com is our website. In this online video lecture for environment and ecology, you are going to learn about biological oxygen demand and chemical oxygen demand. This topic is always an important for prelims examination every year. So prepare well on this topic. You may get one question from this topic in 2016 prelims examination. For the topic of eutrophication and for explaining the biological oxygen demand and chemical oxygen demand, the concept is simple. You should know some basic concepts like dissolved oxygen, phytoplankton, what is that? And the river is a water body. Then the river enters the water body. It carries fertilizers like nitrogen, phosphorus and other wastewater and increase the organic material. Because of the organic material, more number of bacteria grows. So more number of bacteria uses the dissolved oxygen. So bacteria takes up the dissolved oxygen and degrades the organic material. So because of that, the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water body comes down because of the low oxygen level, which is called as hypoxia. Hypoxia means low oxygen level in the water body, or also you can say human body. Complete absence of the oxygen is called as anoxia. Complete absence of oxygen is called as anoxia. So because of the hypoxia, the fishes and other animals suffer and slowly they will die down. The only animals which can survive in the low oxygen environment will survive. It's all about some important basic introduction to the dissolved oxygen, phytoplankton. What is phytoplankton? As you know, in the land, plants which produce photosynthesis, through photosynthesis they produce starch and it is eaten by primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and you know about the food chain, food pyramid, etc. Like that, phytoplankton which does the role of plants in the land. Phytoplankton takes the oxygen from the atmosphere and by using sunlight produces a starch, and the phytoplankton becomes the food for zooplankton, and zooplankton are eaten by small fishes are eaten by larger fishes, and so on. It's all about aquatic food chain or marine food chain. So let's go back to the topic. One point we misquoted, that phytoplankton takes carbon dioxide, not oxygen. Please remember, phytoplankton takes carbon dioxide and produces oxygen here. We said is a oxygen, that's not oxygen, that's carbon dioxide. So phytoplankton takes carbon dioxide from atmosphere and sunlight and produces starch. It's the role of phytoplankton. In this process, oxygen also released. Then the oxygen will be utilized by various animals, bacteria, etc. Fishes also uses that. Bacteria nothing but a decomposes located in the bottom of the water body or ocean. So now let's come back to the topic, biological oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand. Let's forget whether it's a biological or chemical. Only take the oxygen demand. What is that? Oxygen demand means the demand for oxygen becomes high, maybe due to the increased decomposer activity. Decomposer takes the oxygen and decomposes the complex organic material into simple form like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, like that it separates. It's a role of decomposers. For that, oxygen is required. When high amount of organic material reaches the water body through by using the fertilizers, surface runoff water, etc., the demand for oxygen increases. That's called as oxygen demand. Then what is the difference between chemical and biological oxygen demand? Let's discuss further. Urban runoff water which carries pet waste and other street waste reaches the water body. For example, if you take the Chennai floods, as probably you heard recently, Chennai severe flood affected, and most of the street waste and most of the organic pollutants are washed away from the Chennai streets and reach the water body. So the organic content in the water bodies around Chennai will be high at this time. And also from other reasons, like from the fertilizers, some leaves, grass, papers comes from the residential areas, reach the water body and increase the demand for oxygen, because to decompose these organic waste, the bacteria or decomposers need more amount of oxygen. So it increases the oxygen demand in the water bodies. Let's understand the concept further with the help of this image. When you go from the surface of any water body to the bottom, two things you may experience. Density of the water will increase when you move from the surface to the bottom of the water body, and second, the level of oxygen will come down from the surface of the water body to the bottom. For example, in the surface layer of the water body, water is less dense and dissolved oxygen is high. When you go to the bottom layer, density of the water is high and dissolved oxygen level is low in the bottom of the water. And you can see the various organic waste coming to the water body via runoff, nutrients and other sources. Phytoplanktons grow because of the nutrients, and the dead matter reaches the bottom, and here dissolved oxygen used by the bacterium to decompose the organic matter, so that leads to the hypoxia or anoxia. As already you know, hypoxia means low oxygen level, anoxia means no oxygen at all. Because of that, organisms, fishes die in the bottom layer, and both layers are not strictly separated because of the water current or ocean current. The mixing occurs. You can say upwelling. Upwelling means bottom of the water comes to the surface through a process called as upwelling. So because of that, overall the level of oxygen demand increases and also dissolved oxygen comes down. What about organic compounds and inorganic compounds? How they are linked in a cycle? As you know, phytoplanktons produce the organic compounds, and organic compounds, when reaches the bottom, they are decomposed by decomposers. Decomposers are nothing but bacteria. Now inorganic compounds are released. Inorganic are once again used by phytoplankton to produce the organic one. To assess the quality of the water, two tests are commonly performed. One is biological oxygen demand test and second is chemical oxygen demand test. BOD test or biochemical oxygen demand or simply biological oxygen demand is a test performed with the purpose of measuring the surface runoff water or other waters on the receiving water. Consider this blue as a receiving water body. What is the impact of this, the surface runoff water on the receiving water body? It is measured with the help of biological oxygen demand. Let's understand the concept of biological oxygen demand with the help of this table. When amount of organic materials reaching the water body is low, means Low amount of bacteria or decomposers will be required to decompose the organic matter. So because of the low amount of decomposers or low number of bacteria, biological oxygen demand will be low. In case more amount of organic materials reach the water body, means high amount of bacteria or decomposers will be required to decompose the organic matter. So it will increase the biological oxygen demand. So everything is directly proportional. Now let's discuss about chemical oxygen demand. What is that? How chemical oxygen demand differs from biological oxygen demand. So chemical oxygen demand is nothing but is a measurement of capacity of water to consume the oxygen for two purposes. One is for the decomposition of the organic matter, as already we discussed in the biological oxygen demand. The second one is, that is important, oxidation of some compounds. Oxidation of some compounds or inorganic chemicals like ammonia and nitrates. Ammonia and nitrates are formed during the decomposition. So these nitrates and ammonium will take the oxygen and become further compound. So the chemical oxygen demand measures oxygen for two purposes: oxygen required for decomposing purpose and oxygen required for oxidation of the inorganic chemicals. The second point, there is a oxidation of inorganic chemicals differentiates COD from the BOD. So COD test is used as a general indicator of the water quality and also a integral part of the all water quality management programs. Because government does many water quality programs and chlorination is being done frequently. In this, how to test the water quality? By using the COD test. Now let's differentiate biological oxygen demand from chemical oxygen demand. COD, that is chemical oxygen demand, is much faster and more accurate test when compared to BOD. The first important point. So COD test is much faster and accurate. So the second point is BOD indicates amount of dissolved oxygen required for oxidation of the organic compounds. At the same time, chemical oxygen demand is nothing but a amount of dissolved oxygen required for oxidation of both organic compounds as well as for inorganic compounds. These are the two important difference between chemical oxygen demand and biological oxygen demand. So it's a very important topic for the prelims examination. Revise all the important points and download the PDF for revision purpose. All the best.